What is up, y'all? It is comefy.reddit/entitled Woo, more entitled stories. I can't sing, so I'm not gonna try anymore. So, recently we've hit a 956 subscribers at this current moment. And I want to thank you all because this growth is insanely awesome. And for this, I want to start bringing daily Reddit content. You know what I promised to do in the beginning. You know what? Well, you guys are going to see daily Reddit content. Now I've taken about 35 seconds, and I'm going to take another 2 seconds and say goodbye. So, bye. Stranger stealing my dog. Actually. Okay, so this is a weird story. When I was little, I went to a town picnic with my family. We brought our miniature, not going to try to pronounce that, Duke. This was the kind of thing where there was this really big clearing and there was some food trucks and games and stuff. He was cute, little black-haired puppy, and Texas was hot. So when we got home to get some, we went to some hot dogs or something, we put him under a tree with his leash in the ground with a stake. After a while standing in line, my sister and I walked back to the tree, since my parents could see us, my sister being 3 and me being almost 6 at the time. But when we got there were 2 other kids, about 3 or 4 years older than us, with Duke. One pulling at his collar, the other one trying to kick the stake out of the ground. I was totally innocent and naive and didn't know what these kids were doing, so I asked, "What are you guys doing with my dog?" The older brother looked up at me and was silent for a good 10 seconds. The father said, "Oh, we lost our dog and this one looks exactly like him, so we thought it might be him." Me being cute and innocent and felt bad for them, so I took my sister back to my parents and walked for an hour yelling, "Fido!" at the top of my lungs, hoping to find their imaginary dog. After a while, I couldn't take 90+ degree weather, Fahrenheit, and went back to sit under the tree. And when I came back, there was no Duke. I looked at my parents still in line at a food truck, noticed he wasn't there. So I looked around and saw him. Same collar, same leash, answered the same name when I called out to him, so I ran over and asked what these people were doing with my dog. The lady, who was a mom, looked at me like she had been busted, answered, "This dog is my kid's dog they lost a couple weeks ago, and he looks the same." I then saw the same kids from earlier. Little me was too dumb to put prices together. So I went to my dad and he was like, "Daddy, who are these people and why do they have Duke?" He looked over to where he was supposed to be. Duke wasn't there. He scanned the crowd and saw him and left with my mom in line and sprinted over there. Don't mess with the Texan's dog. And asked the same questions and got the same answers. So we kneeled down, covered his tag, and asked what the dog's names and questions. Got the same answer. So we kneeled down, covered the name and tag, and it was something they made up like Rex or Rover. My dad uncovered it and said Duke. Then they accused us of stealing him, when we had him for almost a year at that point, so we called out their crap. Their dad came over and asked what was going on, to which my father explained everything. And then the man started screaming and cussing. No warning, just letting out the words the flow of his mouth. Oh boy, did this anger my dad. Now it was his turn. He pulled his license, a certificate thing that said he just in case something like this happened. He proved he adopted Duke and told him to give him back. The children started wailing and sobbing, like 3-foot-tall banshees saying they wanted the dog, and they wanted it now. They always wanted a dog, and there was one free sitting under a tree. And they understand why they couldn't have it. As they yelled at this, basically shattered the mom's dad's story, so we said we wanted our dog back or we're calling the cops. We got our dog back, but we never took him to similar events ever again. We don't want to risk this again. Well, I mean, hey, if you... I touched up on this about the last dog napping story I had. And say, if you can't win by saying it's your dog and someone else is stealing it from you, then you're not going to win at all. Because you got to use that tip. And now people are starting to catch on, so you got to steal dogs in a different way. It is satire. Last time I got a lot of comments saying that I was a bad person for encouraging dog napping. So I'm not encouraging that. Just do it and don't let yourself get caught. But I am disabled. FD equals friend's dad, FM equals friend's mom, SG equals security guy, and EL equals entitled lady. Background: a close family's friend had needed to get his leg amputated after a blood clot burst, and the family was having a hard time adjusting to dealing with all of the changes in their lives. So my family made it a point to support them in whatever way they could, even having their youngest practically living at our house for a few weeks while he was in the hospital. One of their kids is my age and we're both in a marching band, but went to different schools so we could go and watch each other's competitions whenever we could as a show of support and a low-key staking out for the competition. It was at one such competition that this happened. After a few months after FD's amputation and his wheelchair bound, my family had showed up a few hours before my friend's fans was going to perform, so we can just enjoy the other bands. Maybe 2 or 3 bands before my friend was up. Her family had texted us that they were at the stadium, and so we got up to meet them. We met them and they began to look for our seats around the handicapped areas so that we could sit together and watch the show. Admittedly, we were in a fairly large group, my family of 4, FD's parents and his wife, and their youngest daughter. So we weren't really looking to be seated necessarily together, but in a place to get FD and FM and possibly parents together to watch it. And the youngest would have sat with us higher in the stadium. The event was crowded. Even for a low-key marching competition in Central Texas, which usually has a large turnout anyways, there was way more people than I would have expected. Which meant that people were grabbing seats wherever they could, including the handicap section. FM, excuse me, can you help me find seats? Sure, just let me see if anyone can move. He then leads us to a spot on the 30-yard line that has a fair amount of open seats nearby anyone that can be close. But there's a couple sitting in the handicap seats and aren't paying attention to the band that is performing. So this seemed like the best bet to ask to move. Excuse me, this area is for handicapped individuals only. Could I ask you to find a seat somewhere else? No, you don't understand. I am disabled. I have lots of disabilities, said in the hoftiest voice I think I've ever heard anyone talk seriously in. Then she turned back to her husband, completely ignoring security guy, and continued with her conversation like she was never interrupted, apparently somehow missing the 7-foot-tall, wheelchair-bound bald guy and the 8 people with him. Ma'am, I'm really going to ask you to move so this family can sit down. The entitled lady sneered and turned around again, fully began cradling her wrist in a completely over-dramatic and obviously fake fashion, and opened her mouth to tell Eshy to buzz off, when she caught the sight of FD in his wheelchair missing a leg. Until the lady at least had the decency to look somewhat embarrassed at the situation, and her husband had the decency to look absolutely mortified on her behalf. And they both left to go find other seats without another word. Thoroughly called out their lie, and I have no doubt the woman was actually disabled and needed to sit there. No one would have a problem asking someone or other people to move, but the fact that she really drives home, and she was faking in order to keep her seat. That's quite messed up, but I mean, you see people use handicap things all the time, and though it's not right, I know you're guilty of doing so. So you watching this video and you're not disabled, I know for a fact that your parents have at least parked in a disabled parking spot. Don't tell me I'm wrong, otherwise your name becomes Jimmy, and that means you're not a fan favorite on the channel. I'm just kidding. If your name is Jimmy, then you're cool, but not as cool as anyone named Bob. Okay, I don't know where this joke was going, so I'm just going to get to the next clip. Thank you all for watching towards the end. That was a great day, night, time, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're watching this. If you're watching this on a field trip, I don't know why you're focusing on my video, because field trips sound very fun. Oh, you're going to a science center. Okay, well, I'm glad you're watching my content, because my content's actually worth watching. Anyways, as you guys heard in the beginning of the video, I am starting to go daily again, because there's a whole point of my channel, and I just had a lot of time on my hands, and I just been wasting it. Yeah, so daily videos coming out now. I apologize for this video being so short. I was scrunched for time. Coincidentally, after saying I had time to record all day. Anyways, I do have school in the morning, so I do want to get this video out before I go to bed. And I know it's 10, and this video probably won't be up till 11, but I just want to get this out. Sorry I took another minute just to say goodbye. But join my Discord, it's in the description, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't enjoy the video and would like to give me a suggestion, comment. Alright, now that we've reached a minute on the outro, I'm a bit disappointed. Bye.